are traumatized because of the conditions of life they are subjected to in the countries they are in. Gambia is always home for everybody. If you are of African descent, Gambia is your home. This is the smiling coast. We are ready to receive everybody. Only one thing we ask for: respect the laws and respect the people. You can do that. This is a very welcoming place. You can fit in. You can easily find a home. Those who want husbands, we have lots of them. Those who want wives also, we have lots of them. So yes, make Gambia your home. Bring your talents, bring your energies, bring all the good qualities that would help move this country forward. We need you. Come to Gambia. It can be home for all of you.
Important to take every attempt to reverse what oppressed us as a positive move in the right direction. But this is an Africa which is trying to reposition itself, to reinvent itself. And the task is immense. The route diverse, the starting point different. Essentially, what is needed is precisely that innovative capacity. We must look at all examples and let's move on with those examples and see ultimately how that collective example will shape a continent united in purpose, in direction, to be able to address the issue of liberty. There is absolutely no doubt that there are many ways of addressing the issue. And you've mentioned an example that is often mentioned in many circles. But I am emphasizing that that is one step. There are thousands of steps now that must be taken. Fundamentally, I must say that a new leadership must emerge in the continent that must be ready to accompany the type of change that will guarantee liberty and prosperity to the people. A change not only for one state.
Healing can derive from recognition of your status, of who you are as a human being who needs respect, as a human being who should not be looked down upon or considered inferior. Healing can come from feeling welcome by the people you are with. Healing can come from the fact that you are simply appreciated. You can get a lot of that in Gambia. Smiling coast, smiling people, very accommodating, very welcoming. Gambians have always been like that. We are known for our hospitality. So if any one of you should choose to come to Gambia, either to visit or to resettle, you would find that this is a very easygoing place. In fact, Gambia is known as the Gambia no problem. And that says it all. The people are very calm, very accommodating. So, I mean, if you come to Gambia, you can easily resettle in this country. I mean, we do not definitely encourage, those things that would change Gambian character. No. But we would want you to come and embrace the Gambian people, embrace our culture or our cultures, and try to promote those things that make Gambia what it is. That is our culture of tolerance of one another, our culture of mutual accommodation and things like that. You would see that the Gambia is populated by different people, people of different ethnic groups. But we have some interesting arrangements that makes living with one another somewhat easy. We all consider one another as cousins or bantermates pretty much.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
the Jolas and the Series, the Jolas and the Fullers. you know, the Fullers and the Mandinkas, we all have those things. It's kind of some form of a social system of accommodating and tolerating one another.
Yeah.
It's also a process of conflict resolution, you know, or we cannot fight one another because we are cousins, you know, things like that. So these are unique to Gambia. You know, we want people to come and embrace these things and help Gambia move forward. I mean, we would want the doctors to come because we would need them. We need the lawyers to come. We need the accountants to come. Above all, we need the engineers and the mathematicians to come. I mean, instead of being in England and being underemployed or being unemployed, that's the worst bit of it, you can come to Gambia and have a meaningful life. So all and sundry are welcome. Just the condition that respect the people, respect the laws, and you would find a very, very happy and accommodating.
To realize the humiliation they were subjected to, and came to the understanding that they must develop an agenda for national liberation that will ensure that the continent from which they hailed will earn the liberation that it deserves, so that it will rise up and be a star among the world constellation of nations. That was the objective. That no continent will be above the African continent. Yes, we can be equal, but we will not subdue to a superior organization or continental organization. We will be equal to all. So what is essential now is to accompany all the changes in all the countries. And then we move and see in a decade, and that is my conception, that in a decade, a continent that has been sleeping, what is called a sleeping giant, will be awakened as her people refuse to sleep again, as her people refuse to be silent again, as her people refuse to be dominated again. That is coming. There is no doubt about it.
I mean, I do understand that there is the need to protect the local labor market so that, I mean, people would not come from abroad and elbow out the locals and take it all for themselves. And I agree with you. I mean, what we need more is not that people who would just come and grab, but people who have something to bring and to contribute. And that is that contribution that would move the country forward. But all that said, I think Gambia, we have enough space for good people to come and share our country with us. And I underline good people, because also, I mean, we wouldn't want our culture to be changed. We won't. Gambia is a very peaceful place, and peace is, in fact, I believe, one of the most important commodities that we have to sell.
Absolutely.
Worldwide. People come here because they know there's tranquility. People come here because they know there's very little crime. I mean, I walk around and I see tourists walking all by themselves, even at night. Yes. And nothing happens to them.
Exactly.
So our peace is very important for us. So we also want people who would come and also promote that peace.
Yes.
We would not want people who would come and jeopardize that peace. For people who are thinking like that, I'm sorry, sad to say, but you're not welcome.
Yay! Sorry.
Yeah, so we want good people, people who have Africa, the interests of Africa in their hearts. People who have the interest of Gambia at heart, people who are interested in helping Gambia move forward, people who have something they can contribute, and that is key, being able to contribute to the development of this society. So, but I do think integrating in Gambian society, it's quite easy. I heard you speak you know, some words in the local languages. You know, it's one word at a time until you master one or more of the languages. So it's quite easy to integrate. The people will help you integrate. It's not a very complex or difficult society. We can be very, very tolerant and very accommodating. And the easiest way is just show us some respect. For those of you who suffer a lot of stress 9 months in the year, come to Gambia and try it. You would feel a lot of relief.
Cried inside my very heart when women from the diaspora visited the Gambia decades ago, and I was called to comfort a woman who could not stop crying when taken to Janjanbureh and shown a place they called Slave House. She came back and wondered why she was on holiday. And I told the Gambians who called me that you cannot invite people to come on holidays as tourists to their homeland.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I love you so much.
Just for sightseeing is a betrayal of those who have fought tirelessly to ensure that the past is redeemed. It's a past that we should not be afraid to look back to.
Exactly.
But it's a past we must not live in.
Exactly.
It's a past we must learn from in order to shape our common destiny. That we shared a common destiny of oppression from all sides of the globe. People were taken from here in captivity and enslaved against their will.
Absolutely.
And they struggled. And as Frederick Douglass had said, power concede to no one without a demand. It never did, it never will. That you must demand for liberation.
That's right.
And seize that liberation to know that freedom is your possession. It's not.
Come back to Africa and that would be the beginning of your healing. You come to Africa, you find acceptance. You look around, you see people who look exactly like you. You look around, you see people who are prepared to embrace you as a sister or as a brother, as a mother or as a father. I mean, Africa is your natural habitat. Africa is your home. So come back to Africa and, you know, integrate with the people. I mean, and because, like I said earlier, healing would start from the knowledge that you are accepted.
Yeah.
In Africa, the issue of acceptance it's not even a question, because it is something that is naturally taken for granted. The moment you are on African soil, you are African and you are treated as a brother. Come to Gambia, we'll all embrace you, you know, and take you as one. So, I mean, I do think that for those of you in the diaspora, I mean, you have two important projects. The reparation project, well, that is going to take a long time, but it's the collective voice of the people that is going to make it happen. Because you have to be able to find strength in unity.
Yes.
Strength in your numbers. You project it, you push it, with the help of African states, you can get it. Remember, we are about 53 countries in the United Nations. If we shout, people will listen. Okay. But African governments would not do it unless and until you in the diaspora are united in that front. Okay. And the other thing is coming back to Africa. I think this should be a major program. I mean, if you look at some countries like Rwanda and even Cape Verde, their development is spurred by people who associate with that country but live in the diaspora. Yes. Gambia too can capitalize on that. There are, in as much as it is difficult in the West, there are a lot of successful Africans in the West. Yes. And it is those successful Africans in the West who can bring that success to Africa and help, you know, push the African development agenda, and thereby also create more room for those who are less successful, who are living in the diaspora, to also come back to Africa and enjoy, I mean, the prosperity that is being brought in by those who are coming from the West, in addition to the efforts of those who are on the ground.
The suffering of those who were taken away, deprived of a homeland, was equally paralleled by the suffering of those who remained but eventually had to be strangers in their own homeland because their homeland became colonized. Yes. And their countries were owned by foreign powers, their wealth taken away from them, and ultimately they were reduced to raw material producers, exported to foreign lands, processed and brought back to them in finished products. And they continued to wallow in poverty while those who dominated them continue to enrich themselves. That's what we realize.
It's the truth.
And that is what led to the desire to come together to free the African people. The joint realization of our common suffering and oppression led to joint action for our common liberation. That's why we had the first Pan-African Conference held in 1900. Yes. Where Sylvester Williams and the rest of those from the continent realized that unless Africa was free, the African in the diaspora will continue to be discriminated and will not have a homeland to return to. That once Africa is respected, Africans everywhere will be respected. And that is inconceivable without taking charge of our destiny. And that constituted a beginning for the struggle for the liberation of the continent. You see, we all know that the Gavi movement was created, yes, in order to prepare people in the diaspora to come back home. Yes. But they did not know the homeland they were to come back to was also controlled by the very people who sold them to slavery.
Exactly. One nation, one Africa. Thank you, BlaXit family. Please keep watching, please subscribing, and remember, follow your dreams.
Purchase your tracks today. 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 Purchase your tracks today.